Marjorie Taylor Greene spoke today on what she thinks the U.S. should do with Ukraine as it's being invaded by Russia. And it's really funny how everything she talks about in this next clip sounds like it was written by Vladimir Putin and the Kremlin.
Amendment number 6 directs the president to withdraw the U.S. from NATO. My amendment would direct the president withdrawal from NATO. They are not a reliable partner whose defense spending should be paid for by American citizens. For the better part of the last decade, Germany has contributed only around 1% of its GDP to finance NATO obligations, while the United States is paying around 4% of our GDP to defend NATO countries. The United States has been financing and promising to defend NATO countries for decades and paying more than its fair share. Western European countries could and should be stepping up their financial contributions to ensure the security of NATO. Instead, they are entirely beholden to Russia, and the U.S. taxpayer is expected to foot the bill. Amendment number 110 prohibits the provision of F-16 fighter jets to Ukraine. My amendment would prohibit the U.S. from sending F-16 fighter jets to Ukraine. Providing F-16 fighter jets to Ukraine will not only deplete our own fighter fleet, but it will escalate the proxy war with Russia, which is a nuclear power, rather than implementing diplomatic solutions. Again, we should not be funding war. We should be pushing for peace. Amendment number 113 prohibits the provision of long-range missiles to Ukraine. My amendment prohibits the U.S. from sending long-range missiles to Ukraine.
There you have it. Marjorie Taylor Greene sounding a lot like Donald Trump in the run-up to 2016, talking about how NATO is just, they're not our friends. And the European Western countries, man, they're just not paying their fair share, despite the United States being the beacon of light and the richest country in the history of the world, and the country that everyone is relying on to keep fascists like Russia and Vladimir Putin at bay. No, Marjorie Taylor Greene, she just wants us to pull out of NATO. Simple enough. She thinks that will keep the peace. Yeah, okay. NATO, an organization that unifies the democracies of the world in order to push back against dictators by saying, hey, look, if you invade one of us, you invade all of us, and we will kick your ass. No, Marjorie Taylor Greene says, no, we shouldn't do that. We should let Vladimir Putin do whatever he wants to and invade whoever he wants to. That's Marjorie Taylor Greene's idea of peace. Doesn't make a lot of sense. Marjorie Taylor Greene also called for the United States to refuse to give Ukraine F-16s. Don't help your allies. No. Just let them be invaded by a much larger, much more monstrous country who has a much larger military. No. Marjorie Taylor Greene also doesn't want to give them long-range weapons. No, that's only going to increase the war. Just let them be slaughtered, Marjorie. Let the Ukrainians die at the feet of these Russians. That's Kremlin propaganda, Marjorie. Do you not know that, or are you totally compromised? So that's the thing. I don't know if Marjorie Taylor Greene is smart enough to realize that she's been compromised. I mean, you could tell that she didn't even really understand what she was reading there. Oh, Marjorie. Man, she is doing a lot to try to be Donald Trump's VP. And really, this is just stale bread, right? Like I said at the beginning of this video, it's like, okay, this sounds exactly like Donald Trump in 2016. This is stale. The world has changed dramatically in the past 7 years. Russia has now invaded an Eastern European country. And you have representatives like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who could be Donald Trump's vice president. You have her speaking and giving Russian talking points in the U.S. government, influencing people in the U.S. with Russian talking points. Ooh, Marjorie. Compromised, girl. Compromised.